أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب إله رب العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعن الدائم الأعداء أجمعين. We will try to expand a bit more the discussion that we have done with different examples. A couple of good examples came about in the extension of the questions which were asked. For a person who is, for example, as Hajar was just mentioning that, okay, in a business or in a seminar, or one is kind of pointing out to his qualifications and to get his product going, he's pointing out his connections, who he has and what business he has done. That's the truth. If it's becoming a false evidence, if lying is coming about, then obviously that will push me towards arrogance. If any halal and haram in my representation or in my presentation is coming about, then obviously this is either becoming too giving away my nafs, izzat nafs, in the case of humbleness, and in the case of arrogance as well. If I'm boasting about something and I'm the minister, and okay, no problem, take some bribe, do this, do that. Yes, I am the minister, but I am trespassing the halal and haram of God. Then this is clearly pointing out to the arrogance. I am looking at the qualification, what I have independently, that it belongs to me and I am. It is not something that God have given me. Right? The other example was, for example, when Imam Ali alayhi salam was in that battle and Amr ibn Abdul spits on Imam Ali and he leaves him there. Although Imam Ali is saying that, I am the greatest warrior. That's not takabbur. If that was takabbur, he would have killed Amr ibn Abdul in the worstest fashion, then and there, right away. He would not have left him there. So when he is saying that I am the first one who kind of manifested Islam, in the khutbah, in the talk that they give before battle, for instance. So they are speaking the truth, and this truth is in connection with God have given them. Yes.
What about mind games?
Once again, it is, it goes, if the point is on the top level is halal and haram aspect. If I am somehow in playing the mind games, while doing so, I am using Toria. Yeah. Yeah. If it doesn't have roots in the sadaqat, in the truthfulness, then it's problematic. If it's just a bluff, so it's problematic, right? It might give you. No, because as soon as like for example, I could say that, I went to Qom and, I went to see Abbas and his son came to me and he spoke to me, for example, right? Now the person who am I speaking to, there are two reasons. One is I could say that because I would like to bring him out of certain things that he is doing is wrong, right? And he holds Abbas in high esteem, or some Ayatollah in high esteem, right? And now I'm trying to show my connection to him. My purpose to show my connection to him is not that I want to present myself, but I want him to be out of this, false belief or whatever he has. Because as he has respect of certain persons, such business tycoon or whatever, I'm showing that, I'm friends with them. in a indirect way, I am. For example, I'm friend with his son, for example, or whatever, right? But my sole purpose is not me here. My sole purpose is that he comes out of this. Yeah. So we have to look at the objective of it. Okay, it's the sole purpose is I sell my product, right? Then once again, one have to think twice there. That truthfulness and the thing that I'm going to earn, with this sort of bluff or kind of like a white lie, so to speak, that I have said. What will be the outcome of this, right? So, like for example, as we said, respecting each and every individual, being humble in front of all of creation, because we don't know who they are and what they are. Regarding ourselves as, and our iman, our practices, as nothing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even, I don't know what is in the heart of my brother who is next to me. So I respect him. I am humble in front of him. There was a khadim of madrasa, of a school, at the time of Allama Amini. This is mentioned from Allama Amini's son-in-law. He mentions that there was this khadim of the madrasa of a Hawza Ilmiye, where he was at a time where there was no electricity on that. Allama Amini's time we are talking about, the Ghadir, the Sahib Ghadir, right? And in his madrasa there was this khadim, the worker, the caretaker, who used to clean the clothes, for example, the madrasa and all that. And he was very humble person. And whenever he would go outside, he will ask the students if they want to buy something, and I can get it for them. These are the signs of humility. You care of others. When somebody cares of other people, is a reflection that this person is humble. When I go to the restroom and I clean it to make some other mu'mineen happy. I haven't done that, but I'm doing it for who? To make a mu'min happy, to make the Husainiya clean. That's humbleness. That's humility, right? If a person is a tagabur, it's not my work. He's a caretaker. He will take care of it. Why we are paying him? I will do it, use it, and leave it. If it's so, if I have that, inside, at least I will clean it. Right? Sometimes we flush and we leave the seat like that. These are very important things. I'm sorry to discuss this. We are flushing, but the seat is still wet. We better clean it dry when I leave the restroom. That's humbleness. It's from little things, right? So a person who cares for others is a reflection that he is humble. So this khadim, this caretaker of the madrasa, would always ask people to help and assist and so on and so forth. One night, Allama Amini's son-in-law says that I woke up for Salatul Layl and I saw in his room light in full blast at a time where they were, using, kerosene oil for lamps. And then I was shocked. Then I went near this room and I could hear this khadim who was speaking, and there was another man who was speaking, which I couldn't figure out what he was saying. So I was shocked. And finally, the light disappeared, and then I knocked the door. And this khadim came in and I asked him, what's going on? What is this light? He said, what? Nobody is here. What are you talking about? So he says that if you don't tell me now, I'm going to wake up all the tullab, all the students in the madrasa, and going to tell them. He said, no, please come inside. I will speak. Then he says to him that I request you, if you promise me, then I will tell you what it is. That you will not disclose this till the Zohar of tomorrow. This was a Thursday night. Till Friday afternoon, you are not going to disclose what I'm going to inform you about. If you promise, then I'll. This says that, okay, fine. Then he says that, this was the Imam who came to ask me that there is another khadim of his who died, and he wants me to appoint in that place because that person has died. Because there's diraya, there is sort of like understanding of certain riwayat that we have. Diraya is like the understanding, wama adraka ma laylatul dark, that understanding comes from diraya. There is rivaya, these are the traditions, and there is diraya. So to understand the rivaya, we need the diraya. So there is a hadith by Allama Majlisi which says that the Imam have 30 supporters. This is other than 313. The Abdan and Autad and the helpers of Imam Zaman. This is other than 313. And through these 30 supporters of the Imam Zaman, Imam kind of, makes his things carry out in the dunya. Who they are, we don't know. Right? So this man who was the khadim, who people thought like a caretaker, cleaning the clothes, buying things, fruit, vegetables, running outside, inside the madrasa, right? And always asking the students to study and don't waste your time, right? I will do your work. So he was requested by Imam Zaman and appointed by Imam Zaman that somebody in some place have died and I want you to go there. So his son-in-law was shocked and he said, I was so moved that night I couldn't even pray namaz shab. That I thought, what we are doing? He is a scholar, a student of spirituality, of Hawza Ilmiya. Now he thought that this man is just a khadim, is just working in and out and running up and down. But he is someone who is so close to Imam Zaman that Imam comes to his room and appoints him at a different place, that you go there now. So he says that I was just waiting that what will happen tomorrow. So I watched him, like Friday morning, regular, the way he used to wake up, normal, he packs his bag, very humble bag that he had. And humility is also reflected in the things that one possesses as well, So here he packed it, the humility is reflected the way a person walks as well, Then at the time of Zohr comes, near Zohr, he sits at the pound, the hose. And then he looks at the madrasa once and he says that, oh students, please, make me halal if I have done anything wrong towards you. He utters that. And Allama Amini's son-in-law was saying that I was in tears. I could really see that someone who is a helper of Imam Zaman is leaving. Just like how the pigeons of the haram kind of flies away, right? Always in the haram and it goes away, something. So I saw him near the house and then he was walking and all of a sudden he disappeared with Tahlul Ars. Right? So people that are around us, where we meet, go for ziyarat, umrah, hajj or whatever, we don't know who they are and what they are. And we have to be always in the state that, I am nothing. One should really count oneself. That's why the Prophet would always give salams first. That's humbleness, even to a child. I am your father, or I am your brother, or I am the Maulana, or I am the, whatever. You are just a, young lad, who plays football outside. I'm the one who's making and working and doing announcement here. You giving trouble all the time outside. Right? So I have some sort of reservation with you. No, one should not. One should be very humble, with everybody, with all mu'mineen, particularly mu'mineen are, al-izzatu lillahi wa lirrasulihi wa lil mu'mineen, that honor, respect. When I'm respecting a mu'min, I'm really respecting God. Because izzah, honor belongs to God and to the Rasul and to the mu'mineen. Right? So that is very important. And the more a person becomes educated, knowledgeable, the more humble he becomes. It is natural. Right? That's why you see all of the great imams, the scholars, how humble they were. Right? With big and with small and everybody. Now, just to quickly, wrap this discussion of humbleness and humility, one of the things that the author have pointed out to that ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, abd, that ubudiyat, salli ala Muhammad, that prophet is the abd, where he is the servant of God. Once again pointing out to that quality of humbleness. Among them are those who torment the prophet and say he is an ear. Say an ear that is good for you. He has faith in God and trust the faithful, and is a mercy for those of you who have faith. As for those who torment the apostle of God, there is a painful punishment for them. How much trouble that he went through. Few days before his demise, very famous, we recite as his demise is coming up. He cannot even walk properly. Comes to the Masjid al-Nabi, people packed. Goes there and he says, gives the sermon. Is there anything that I have done? Please, this is the time, come and respond to it. One person stands up. He said, yes, during that battle you pushed me with the staff. I felt very bad about it. So he said, come, do it now. So the whole masjid was quiet, and this man saying this to the Prophet, and Prophet in this state, he cannot walk, feeble. And then he moves forward and he cries and kisses the shoulder of the Prophet, because he wanted to kiss the Muhr Nabuwat. That man, so courageous, so powerful, the powerful man in the Islamic world at that time, so humble that he is uttering these words. Our Prophet. The life of the Prophet is full of examples. The throwing of the garbage of that woman, right? How he was with the children. Imam Ali the same. So we as the follower should be very conscious of how we have our relationship with our friends, with our parents, with our teachers, with our neighbors, with the mu'mineen and mu'minat who come, right? So it's a quality, a very practical quality, requires that reflection, and we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He count us from those who are humble in front of Him, and always reflect on our behavior, that this is not off board, or this is not going in the direction where it is not lied by God. Right? Now the next lesson, which is lesson number 15, which we were supposed to cover, I'll just clearly open up, is the issue of moderation, is the issue of balance. Because God is someone who is in perfect balance. Like as we said, everything we have to, principally speaking, that principle. If God is sabir, we have to be sabir. If God is someone who is well balanced, that means His ghazab, His rahmaniyat, His ghufraniyat, His wahdaniyat, all are perfect balance. There's no emotion, there's no ups and downs. So for a mu'min, it is very much required that he is balanced. Not that, yes, even in this, for us, what we need to more worry about is our religiosity. Sometimes we are too religious. There's no balance there. We have to keep that in mind. What is really the balance? They say that, when Imam Khomeini would visit Mashhad when he was a talabeh, when he was a student, all the students, they will run to the haram. But he would stay behind and he would prepare the food for them, so that when they come, they can enjoy a meal. Right? So even in the religious sort of practices, we have to be very careful. Have that moderation, have that balance in us. And all of these qualities, truthfulness, Aristotle, for example, if you look at it, when he talks about philosophy of ethics, he says that to be rude and rough and harsh is not courage. And to be timid, and weak is not courage, but something that is in between. So a person is very tough, but at the same time very emotional as well, in between. So he kind of looks at the philosophy of ethics in that way. His balance of everything. Truthfulness and falsehood. Somebody who is in between, balance, have to have that balance. Right? So when we start acquiring these good character traits, gradually they speak to us. They overpower, in the sense that they will manifest automatically, impulsively, in the rightful way. Sometimes, we don't know whether to be humble or whether to be, sort of like proud of our iman or whatever, right? Is it that time? Is it that time? As we are approaching all of these things and we are desiring and we want these, our behavior kind of reflects that do I have that balance or not? My action is really an action which was correct and have created that impact which I wanted or not. If my actions, my speech, my akhlaaq, my teaching, my ziyarat, my sort of expenditure, spending, if it is having a positive effect, then this means that my actions are well balanced and well measured. If my children, day and night I'm doing majlis till midnight, I'm taking my kids at home at midnight, they go to sleep, but in the morning in the dars they are weak, this is not balance. 9 o'clock bedtime, the children should go to sleep, right? So that they could function properly next day in school. That's being religious. Not that I spend here till 11, 12, right? So we have to have that balance. That moderation is very important. Inshallah, I think next week Sheikh can, dig into more and point out to you the truth, the right way to really acquire and get this balance. Especially when I see him, he's teaching the most number of hours in the Hawza. It's like teaching 16 hours or something a week. This is just in the Hawza. Now he has classes online. Now he is also the head of the office of the Islamic Center, where he leads the prayer, where he leads the program. I don't know how he balances out, so you got to ask him, inshallah. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alayhi tahirin. Any questions?